So in Halo 2, there is a massive bridge just at the beginning of the mission Metropolis. And for years I've wondered, is it possible to beat this mission without touching the bridge? Let's give it a shot! So this trick is one that I've had on the bucket list for years. But if you're using your eyes to look at this bridge, you can see it's really, really long, like impossibly long. And for this reason, I haven't been able to mentally figure out a method that could even begin to tackle this. The biggest obstacles I'm facing when thinking about a solution to do this is my position where I spawn and the lack of resources. The length of this bridge makes it impossible to conceive of any way that I could launch across this and live. Because Halo 2 has fall timer and you die after about 3 seconds when you start going downward on the map, there wouldn't be a way for me to launch to the other side. If there was a really tall wall on the other side of this bridge, I could probably land on it, but there isn't. And because I can't touch the bridge, I can't even leave the spawn area. So how did I plan on doing this? Well, to be honest, I have no idea. So I concluded that my best course of action was to just start. Last week I did a dead or alive glitch on the mission Metropolis. Now if you didn't see that video and you don't know what the dead or alive glitch is, it's a glitch that allows an alive player to be in a dead body. Now in that video I used this dead body to get into the projection rooms, but for this, my first plan was to create a giant pile of plasma grenades. Then the thought would be that I could put this dead and alive player on this pile of plasma grenades, and then take the rockets off the Marine at the beginning of the mission to shoot the pile. But first, we have to do the dead or alive glitch. This glitch is actually very easy to do. Right at the beginning of the mission, you need to get in either the Warthog or the Scorpion tank. We need this set of Marines to ride with us so they don't progress further in the mission. Doing this also activates a key step. It triggers the Pelican at the beginning of the mission to fly away. To pull this off, we need this Pelican to disappear from the map. But in the meantime, we have another step. We have to get what is called a pinch set up. A pinch is simply when one player stands in an area that the top of their head is pretty much completely covered. Because there's no space above the player's head, the second player can't spawn in. The item that we'll be using for this is the tank. You need to take the tank over to this corner and then oscillate the tracks between both walls. Once you get this right, your tank will start rising. Our goal in this is to lean it up against the wall so that we can get under it. We're setting up our pinch beneath the tank. Once it's leaned up against the wall, it'll start sliding down, but you can get out of it and then just crouch under the tracks and then walk towards the middle of it. And now I need to have player 2 die. Okay, so that Pelican should be gone. I have him in the pinch. Now player 2 needs to throw a frag grenade under his feet so that he goes high enough in the air to die from fall timer. I had a couple of skulls enabled for this, namely the Sputnik, Boom, and Feather skulls. If you don't have these on, you won't get enough height. Okay, see, I'm not getting the wait to respawn prompt. That's how you know you've done it correctly. When the player that died doesn't get the wait to respawn prompt, whoever is host can restart the mission. From this point, the steps are simple. We need to again get in one of the vehicles so the Marines board them. Then, we need to wait for the Pelican to disappear from the map. Need to wait for that Pelican to exit the map too. This typically takes about 30 seconds from the time that you enter a vehicle. Now, I need to die the exact same way. Once this is done, the same player that died before has to die in the exact same way that they died. I can confirm the Pelican is gone. Because I can't advance forward, I don't really have a way to get a checkpoint. And that means that I also can't check to see if I've done the dead or alive glitch correctly. This is because my plan was to create a massive pile of plasma grenades like I mentioned earlier. To do this, I activated the Pinata skull and stood behind the dead or alive player, hitting about 100 grenades out of him. Now the same player that died twice before, the next time they die, they'll be in that dead body. So it's really important that when generating these grenades, I don't kill him. There's also another thing I have to watch out for. If you generate a pile of grenades and no one is looking at the grenades, they'll just disappear. But after getting this pile set up, all I needed to do was kill my second player. And then, as you can expect, because I jumped in the air and wasn't looking at the pile, half of it disappeared. Even though this was unfortunate because of all the setup, I still had a decent pile of plasma grenades in order to launch this player all the way across the bridge to the other side. So from here, I positioned them just in the front of this pile so that they went the right direction. This brings us to our original problem of not having a checkpoint. I faced a dilemma here. Do I shoot this pile of grenades to launch the dead or alive player, having only one opportunity, or do I go forward in the mission to get a checkpoint? My rationale for this is, if I get a checkpoint, I can come back to the dead or alive player in the pile of grenades and repeat attempts. This way, I would be able to tell whether it were hypothetically possible. But if I made it, the attempt wouldn't count. I decided to go with option 2. So I died to leave my rockets near the player so it could easily pick them up, and then I progressed across the bridge. Well, I was expecting to get a checkpoint at some point, but I crossed the entire bridge and did not get one singular one. I decided just to die so I could go back to my teammates so we could get at least one singular launch attempt in. Screw the checkpoint, didn't matter at that point. Well, I found another flaw in this plan. Oh cool, all the grenades disappeared. So I thought having a dead player looking at the pile of grenades would keep them there. But as it turns out, this is not the case. All of the grenades that I created earlier, yeah, every single one of them deloaded. At this point, I pretty much figured that this wasn't possible, but my only course of action was to try one more method. I wanted to try seeing what sticking the second player and then shooting a rocket right behind them would do, how far it would go, would it be feasible? And what I found was, it might just be possible, but the second player would definitely have to be in the dead or alive state for me to pull this off. Now my setup wasn't going to be ideal without any checkpoints, but I did have one advantage. After you get the pinch set up and restart the mission, the only thing the second player has to do is die and then die once more to be in the dead and alive state. All I would have to do is revert the checkpoint, have the second player die twice, and then try to get him across the bridge. If this failed, I could just quickly do it again. Ceiling. So on my fourth attempt, I realized this might just be possible. I launched this player so far in the air that they almost instantly hit the ceiling. Now, I would just need to launch them horizontally. Okay, now, we fly. Went too close to the sun. Okay, I'm dead. Missed by quite a bit on that one. Don't know how it happened with that one. Oh, I keep hitting the sign. That's a problem. Timing was bad. Oh, this one's gonna be crazy. Oh, I hit the corner. So every part of this is a death barrier, by the way. Oh, I think I got it on this one. Maybe. I did it! So, I found out it was possible to cross the bridge on Metropolis without actually touching it. But what I didn't tell you was this was actually the second time I pulled this off. I wanted to have both perspectives, one from the dead or alive player making it across, and one from the person shooting the rocket. Come on, keep going. Bang! Wow, dude. I really never thought this was going to be possible, but apparently it is. I really thought I was going to need a checkpoint somewhere, because I thought I was going to need a grenade stack, but your player goes flying when you die. The player doesn't go as far when you're alive. I just got to play through and beat the mission. You guys just see that? That was like maybe the coolest thing I've ever done. And that's how it's done.